This season, we're going to talk about some different books that I've read. Books with different topics that I think will encourage you. I know you're going to love it. So come on in. The book I want to talk to you about today is called You Are the Girl for the Job. And I had a girlfriend down in Oregon that sent me this book out of the blue. And it just kind of hit me between the eyes. It was a time where I was kind of just in my seasons of life, just kind of questioning, well, God, what do you want from me? Where am I going from here? Has anything I've done been worth anything? It was the pandemic. And this came to me in the middle of that. And it spoke into my soul. It just encouraged me. It gave me hope. And I'm just here because I want to encourage you. You are the girl for the job. So I want to talk about this with my good friend, Emily Roth. Emily, woohoo! Okay, so usually Emily is back there behind the camera because she is my producer. But she is coming on and being a guest today. And I just appreciate you. She pushes me beyond where I'm comfortable. And that's what I love about her. She is a wife. She's a mother of 6. Did I say 6? Yes, 6 children. Yeah, you're crazy. And she's a producer. She's a coach. And she's an amazing friend. So thank you, Emily, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Debbie.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you to be here.
Now everybody gets to see me boss you around on camera.
Yeah. Now you'll see why my show is so good. It's because she bosses me. But I want to talk this book.
Yes.
So when it says you're the girl for the job, I just want them to know right up front what her definition of job is. You are the girl for the job, and the job is this: living the abundant life God has crafted for you with intention, passion, and willingness to do whatever He's asked you to do with a fine-tuned focus on His glory. That's the job. And that's why she can say to any of us, you're the girl for the job. Because it might look different, but you are the girl for the job. So I made you read this to be on my show. You could not be on it without reading it. Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway?
Okay. Well, first of all, I didn't read it. I listened to it. Thank you, Audible.
For us, love audio.
Yes, because managing kids with 2 hands, there's nobody to turn the page.
And did the author read it?
Yes, she did.
I love it when the author reads. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I went into this book saying, okay, I'm going to read it for this. And as a coach and a creative consultant, my job is her position as well, is you kind of coach people, encourage them, pull out their dreams and ask them how they're going to get there, all these types of things. So I'm like, I kind of went in it with a raised eyebrow, like, what is this going to do for me? And quite honestly, it rocked my world a little bit.
Okay,
because
good.
It was role reversal. Mm-hmm. It was me in the seat and somebody coaching me and asking me the hard questions. Mm-hmm. And so honestly, thank you, because it rocked my world, and I am different today from just reading that a week ago.
I know. I felt like that with it too. It was like, it just gave me hope.
Yeah.
And kind of helped me to focus and kind of streamline what God was speaking to me.
Yeah.
So what did it do for you?
Okay, so there's a few things it did, and we'll just go on 2.
Okay.
So the first one is, she was very good about keeping things like biblically based. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, you read the definition, you're the girl for the job, because mm-hmm. it's like, if you're loving people, if you're doing what God put in your soul that you're passionate about, then it could be anything, right? And I think culture in the world has made us focus on our strengths, our giftings. What are you good at? Mm-hmm. Because then you need to capitalize on that, and you need to let God work through those things that you're amazing at, because He's gifted you in there. And honestly, I found myself, that's how I would coach people. But then she was like, no. Mm-hmm. What does Paul say? Like, he boasts in his weakness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's more miraculous, and it's more obvious that God's at work when He works in your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And so she spent half the book on your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And so that was something that resonated in my soul, because I got a lot of weaknesses.
Well, and I think it's interesting in the Christian world, we even do that to leaders. We say, okay, walk in your strength and just staff your weaknesses.
Yeah.
In other words, you don't have to work on your weaknesses. And that's really not what Paul is saying.
Yeah.
We need to work on those weaknesses too.
Exactly. I think it's caveat. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
both and. If you balance that thought. Yes, delegate tasks that you're not good in, but
don't feel like you never have to touch them.
Exactly, or grow.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask you, this kind of rocked me when I got into it.
Okay.
So she said, she's reading this chapter, and she's talking about the ideal self. And she goes, now, honey, if you want to take a moment here and write down a paragraph of your ideal self. She sucked me right in. I'm sorry, a disclaimer if you haven't read the book. But anyways, I went writing, and I'm writing this paragraph, the ideal Debbie, I'm up at 5 praying. I mean, I put down all the things. I exercise. I say all the right words to my kids and my grandkids. I just put down what I wished I was 24/7, right? So then I pick up the book to read it. I was thinking she'd say something positive to me about, you keep trying, honey, you'll get there. But then she just goes, that's not life.
Yep.
That's not who speaks to other people. When you're perfect, you just make other people feel sad. But if you can bring your real self to the table and you can really say, these are my weaknesses, but God's grace came in, and this is where I walk strong now.
Yeah.
She said, that's the actual you speaks to a lot more people than the ideal. And I just was like, oh.
Yeah. In certain worlds, they would call that radical acceptance. It's actually something that I'm working on myself because there's certain idiosyncrasies about myself I don't like, or those weaknesses that I thought I think are actually holding me back. But yet those weaknesses are actually the fuel for the type of people that I want to help. And so, see, I'm seeing it in this negative light, but actually it's just a healthy tension saying, no, if you're having that struggle, one, it means that you love me, and, talking about Jesus, and you love my ways and you want to be like me. So that's why you're feeling tension in this weakness. But that tension allows me to connect with other people who are struggling as well.
In that same place.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, so it turns it around.
Yeah. So I was like feeling bad about different things in my life, I'm like, oh, wait, no. Like I struggle with people pleasing. I want to make people happy. Well, God wants us to be happy. So don't look at it as a negative, but be careful in it and not please God first and then come along and love people. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's not
so
bad.
You're like, my weakness is to please people, and I'm always pushing you to ruffle feathers on the show.
I know, because I just want everyone to be okay.
Yeah, no.
But they're not going to grow if I'm always helping them be okay. Because it's and remember, I'm a 7. I don't like pain, but it's in the pain that we change.
Yes. Yeah. And then what's really rad is that she morphs all of this into the biggest setback for anybody who doesn't feel good enough for the job, whether or not you're not smart enough for the job, you're not equipped enough, you're not spiritual enough,
you're not cute enough.
Yeah, you're not skinny enough. I've had 6 kids. Get off, all right? I'm gonna suck in the whole episode. Right, all that stuff. But she ties it in with fear is the number one thing to hold you back from thinking or allowing yourself to realize that you are the girl for the job. And I didn't think I was a fearful person. And for anybody that knows me, and me,
I don't think you're fearful at all.
Bold, right? But quite honest, if I'm being honest, I guess you're going to get a window into me is there are a few things that I have inside me that I am terrified of, that I want to accomplish, but because of my like disability or whatever you would call it, I am terrified, and I just don't talk about it, except for to my husband, who rolls his eyes at me.
And you're not going to share it with us?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
But it's those things.
Yes.
Deep within you.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll share it with you. I have a few like writing things that I want to do, but I am so terrified that I'm not good enough, or I'm not spiritually strong enough right now to even depart any sort of spiritual wisdom or anything on anybody else.
And you're not, but Christ through you is.
Yes.
That's what she talks about all the time. It's God and me. It's
I know.
His grace.
I know. But I was so focused on what are my strengths.
Right.
So like I'm a whiz at editing video and putting things together.
So I'll do that because I'm good
Telling
at that.
other people's stories. I'm flipping rad. I mean, let's not get prideful. I feel like it's a very hefty skill. But to sit down and be vulnerable and write out in words, like English and grammar, for me.
So do you struggle with comparison at all? Because for me, anytime I sit down to write, I have friends that are amazing writers, and I just right away go, wait, they write so much better, they have so much better to give, I'll go use my time somewhere else.
It's not so much a comparison, because I see, as a coach, which is probably why I am a creative consultant, is I see the creativity in everybody, and I want to help everybody get to what I see God has put in them, but at the deficit of never doing it for myself.
For yourself. You'll push me to be the better and do the better and say these things.
All the while I'm silently being quiet about not doing it for myself. It's not the right time. I'm not ready yet. I'm not good enough yet. I have 6 kids. When they get older, we can always put things off. Exactly. Exactly, yeah. So the number one thing she did for me is, as Yoda would say, that's true from a certain perspective, right?
Right.
So she gave me a new perspective on weakness and on fear and what it really means to be a daughter and a creation of God.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And another thing she said, and I thought this was so powerful, we always, because it goes along with your giftedness, the starting line.
Yes.
You always feel like the starting line starts with you and your abilities
Yes.
and your giftedness. But the starting line doesn't start with that at all.
Yes.
And I think you and I both would say, we thought, okay, that's our starting line. Okay, this is my gift, so that's where I start. No, it starts with his capacity.
Yes.
His capacity. It's not my ability, but it's his capacity. Us and him and us, that makes the difference.
Yeah. And it kind of takes the pressure off of not feeling pretty enough or good enough or any sort of enough, because through Christ, we're everything we need to be.
Yep.
So it takes that needing to, so I always need to create or produce something or make something, or I'm a maker, or I'm a creator. And there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. But reading this and realizing the ultimate thing I am to be is somebody who loves Jesus with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. And if I do that, he will take the burden of everything else.
That's right.
That's how I know if it's a good day. Have I done these 4 things?
Yeah. And it says it's about his capacity and his character. When we lean into God, we won't be limited by our humanity, but empowered by his supernatural spirit. And I think that's the starting line.
Yeah.
And so if we can go there, we are the girl for the job, no matter what it's like. We are the girl for the job. Did you have any favorite quotes? Because I had a friend send me a quote. I refuse to miss out on what God is doing, what he might be saying, and how he may be miraculously intervening. I refuse to miss out because I'm focused on myself, my insecurities, or my perceptions of my own capacities.
Wow. That's
Maybe
great.
you're missing out.
Yeah.
Because you are holding back. Maybe God's pushing you and saying, come on, Emily, you do it for others, do it for yourself.
Yeah. Somebody wise once said to me, I don't remember who it was, but that God's
It was probably your mother. But go ahead.
that God's a gentleman. And so he'll take down those barriers brick by brick,
Oh, I love
as
it.
opposed to just pushing it down. So we all have that greatest fear that God's going to ask me to do the thing I don't want to do the most. That's usually not how he works. Or if he is going to do that, it's because he's already taken down all those bricks. And the only thing left to do is for you to take that one step of
that's
faith.
right. That one step.
I know.
And I think, too, she just gives really strength to anybody, whoever you are. And you go, well, you don't know me. I've messed up. You know, whatever you've done. I've sinned. I've struggled. I've done this. I've been divorced 22 times. I don't know what you've done that's holding you back and makes you feel like you're not, that God could never use you. I want you to know God can use you. You are the girl for the job. He will use you. It's not about your strengths. It's about your weaknesses covered by his grace. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Our weaknesses covered by his grace.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Emily, about this? Now everyone's going to run out and get it because it is a great book. You know, after I read it, my 6-packs all got it and read it too. I mean, my friends, my 6 girls, we all read it. It's a powerful book.
It is. And just one thing that I'll reiterate and why it was so powerful is that she does a great job of bringing you back to who he says you are, right? So in every aspect of your life, what do I say about you? And so I know this sounds so elementary, and sometimes I get down on myself for thinking, why do I have this really petty female struggle? And it's not elementary, it's just basic being human. But to always go back, who does God say I am? And then who am I loving for him today? And he'll do the rest.
And who am I broken for? She does a great chapter on who am I broken for.
We can have a whole nother
a whole nother episode on who I'm broken for. It's amazing because it's not just about us.
Yes.
But when I am at my best and I'm the girl for the job, the lives I touch around me, it just magnifies.
Exactly. So in today's culture, it's all about building influence, building your influence on this platform or that platform, or being able to speak on a stage. But she decentralizes that thought of you-centric and is like, no, it's about the people. So then it becomes, who can I help?
Yep.
What have I been through that I can help this person? And so it's not about gaining skill to reach out. It's about accepting the hardness that you've been through and what you've learned and lifting up somebody else.
I love it. I love it. And that's, who are you broken for?
Yeah.
It's a great book. And at the end, it's really, she's a church planner. And at the end, she says, it ain't going too good. Yes. Remember, she's like, it's not going well for us right now. She writes this book in the midst of not being on the top.
Oh, yeah.
But yet she wants to encourage others because in the midst of it, in the midst of their church plant not going that great, she still knows she's the girl for the job.
Yeah.
It may not always look like you think it should look, But you're still the girl for the job.
Well, yeah, because usually books, like authors write them like after they've been through it and they're at the top
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
This book was so different because she actually wrote it in the middle of all this.
All the junk.
Like she's
Yeah.
still not like over the mountain yet. She's
Yeah.
still not perfect yet.
Yes.
I have to remind myself.
And I
I'm
think
not gonna
that
be
kind of
way.
helps all of us, right?
Yeah.
It makes us feel good.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you. You are the girl for the job. And I have this scripture, Ephesians 2:10, for we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us. And I love this, long ago. So long ago, God knew all about you and what you were going to do. Long ago. And he planned that for you. And sometimes we think it's all about us doing. Oh, no. God's planned it. We just need to get in line with him, get in line with his mission, and just accept who we are in our brokenness and know that he's going to use that. So I want to encourage you, get out there and get that book because you are the girl for the job. So thanks, Emily, for being here. I loved having you. And remember, don't let anybody steal your joy. During this long pandemic, I want to encourage you on 3 things. First of all, make sure you always continue to learn and grow. Secondly, I want to encourage you about community. Continue to meet with friends, make friends. I know it's different, but it's important for us to continue in our relationships. And then thirdly, lean into God because he loves you and he sees you right where you're at. This season, we're going to talk about some different books that I've read. Books with different topics that I think will encourage you. I know you're going to love it. So come on in.